Alright, it's going. So Ryan.
So what? I'm on Facebook in the Walmart parking lot and
At 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning in fucking Des Moines, Iowa.
We're in West Des Moines.
West Des Moines, Iowa. Stealing the internet from Sam's Club next door. And all these ass fucks have been sleeping for several hours as me and Jake have been driving. And we stop at a rest stop just right before Iowa. And Curtis had to pee. So we're like, okay, whatever, we'll stop there. And I go in, and there's no lights on. I'm not thinking there's anyone in there. There's a shit ton of truckers sitting in the, like, actual trucker parking spots. And I go in, and I'm like, oh, are the lights going to turn on? And I walk into the middle of it, and all the lights turn on. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I walk into the bathroom, and I walk in, and I look in through all the stalls. I always do that when I go in the bathroom just to see if there's anybody in there. And the last stall, there's a dude peeking over the top of the stall wearing like a biker do-rag, and he has like Stone Cold Steve Austin blonde facial goatee, and he's either super tall or standing on the toilet seat. I'm like, what the fuck? My automatic instinct from former things that have happened in the past that this dude was getting a blowjob in the last stall. So I'm like, okay, this is awkward. So I walk to the urinal. I tell myself that I can pee because I want to pee so bad. And I'm telling myself over and over, just pee, just pee, just pee. And I hear this weird little grunt from the last stall. You know, the kind of grunt that you're either getting a great blowjob or you just got a massive turd out of your ass. It's one of those two things.
It could have been both.
It could have been both. It could have been a Blumpkin.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you, girlfriend.
For the Blumpkin.
For the record, I've never had a Blumpkin. So I'm just thinking there, I'm still trying to pee, I can pee, just pee, just pee, just pee. And Scott walks in and I'm like, oh great, this is gonna relieve and I'm gonna be able to pee. Never thought that a short man in flannel could ever make me want to pee. So he walks in, goes to the short urinal, and he's like, hey, it's a urinal just my size. And I'm like, oh, don't make me laugh, because it sucks when you laugh when you pee. If you're a man, you should know that. And it's like, okay, this weird tension is gone, but I still have this weird, funny feeling that this guy is getting a blowjob in the last stall. And then Jake walks in, and he's like, oh, hey guys, and he slaps both our asses as we're urinating. I'm like, sweet. So, I usually don't wash my hands when I go to the bathroom, and I walked over to the sink.
It's the same thing I did.
You did that too?
Yep.
Okay, I walked over to the sink, and I washed my hands, just so I could look back to look underneath the stall, all the stalls, and I see an actual set of feet, and they're pointed towards the toilet. So I'm like, okay, so either is peeing or whatever, or that's the guy that's giving the blowjob. And then I look up, and that same guy is peeking over the top of the stall, looking at me. The feet are still this way. Either this guy is a contortionist, or there's another dude in the fucking bathroom stall with him. And there's no way these are women's shoes unless they only shop at retarded, like, Dakota Boys Ranch type thrift stores to get shitty shoes. Because these are the ugliest, like, women's shoes you would possibly see if they were women's shoes. So it's obviously a man. He's peeking over the stall at me again, and I turn around, and I walk to the air blow dryer thing, and I do that, and then I go up to Jake and Scott that are still peeing for some reason. That was my weird thought.
It was a long drive.
Yeah, you guys were both peeing still, and I put my hands on both your shoulders, and I say, I think the guy in the end stall is getting a blowjob from another guy. And then I walked out. And as I'm walking through the door, Curtis is walking to the door, and in his exact words, the shit-eating grin that you had on your face was priceless. And I said, there's a trucker inside the bathroom in the last stall getting a blowjob. I proceeded to walk out into the van and tell everyone in the van. So they start filing out Jake, Scott, and Curtis.
No. Before that even happens,
okay.
Kurt walks in.
Okay.
And here, you hold this now.
Okay, back to Jake.
Okay, so after Ryan leaves, then Kurt walks in, and he just looks at me like, what the fuck is going on? Is there really a dude getting a blowjob? And I'm just like, holy shit. Scott leaves, and after I wash my hands and do the same thing to make the look back through the mirror to see this guy peeking over, staring at me, and then I look down and can see 2 sets of feet, and I was like, holy shit. So then Kurt walks in with that fucking surprised Curtis face, if you know him, and Scott leaves, and I was like, I want to get out of here, like, this is fucked up. But then I was like, I don't want to leave Curtis in here in case these dudes try to rape Curtis. So I stood in there and, like, pretended to dry my hands with the dryer, which I didn't even fucking use soap. I barely even put water on them, and I didn't even need to. So I stood there with the dryer and then waited for Kurt to get done, and I was like, don't even wash your hands, let's just go. And then we went back outside, and then, Ryan, keep telling.
Okay, I go outside, and they're standing there by, like, the trash cans, and I was assuming they're smoking and discussing these men giving each other oral pleasure. And Jack, all the time that, like, Adam's sitting in the back and Jack's contemplating, he's like, should I go in there? I want to go in there. I want to see. So didn't he go in there?
Yep, Jack went
in there.
With his blanket on his back.
He had his blanket over his shoulder, like all grandma style.
Is that when he went in there, he said he saw one of the dudes spitting in the sink and then walk back into the stall.
Yeah, this dude, he goes out, Jack goes in the bathroom and he sees this dude, like, hawking a loogie in the sink. Like, really trying to get something out of his throat. Really, really trying. And imagining, why would he do that?
Like,
There's only one reason after being in a stall with another man, when he's making either pooping or blowjob sounds, that you would make a loogie. He has semen in his throat.
And then he proceeded to go back into the stall.
He proceeded to go back into the stall for round 2. For all we know, that could have been round like 5. Seriously, when we came there, those lights were not on in that fucking rest stop. We sat outside that rest stop after all this happened for 20 fucking minutes, and those lights were still on. How fucking long were those dudes in that fucking bathroom?
Plus the extra 20 minutes after we were waiting outside for them.
They were in there for over a fucking hour doing gay stuff. Gay trucker stuff in a fucking stall. Who does that? I've experienced weird, fucked up things in my day, including gay men in stalls and parks, but this is by far more fucked up.
Oh, ending note.
Day 1 of fucking tour.
Fuck.